Hey everybody, this is Perch. World building, I think, is key to successful comics. If you look at, but it requires longevity. You can't really do world building in a four-issue series. I mean, you can, but you just really get to scratch the surface a little bit. A really talented creator can do that and create a lot of curiosity and basically demand for, the story to expand and for people to want more. I think Jim Starlin did that quite a bit. A lot of the cosmic writers, the DNA team did. So you can't do it, but generally, world building requires time. I mean, it's somewhat self evident. If you give yourself time to actually create this universe and these characters and everything that goes on within it, then you unless your world stinks, and that's a hard thing to kind of face yourself in the mirror with. It's it takes story. It takes pages in order to build this stuff up, introduce these people in a good organic way. And I'll give you an example of somebody who I think is doing it poorly right now. It's Saga. So Saga is still plowing along, and it was a really popular title at one point. It did do a lot of world building and character development and everything else, and there was a lot to it. But when it came back from hiatus, the world building aspect suddenly seemed to be, I don't know if cheaper is the right word. Things were coming at it kind of rapid fire. It no longer felt like a good organic story. It felt like they were just kind of throwing stuff against the wall for shock value, which in fairness is kind of exactly what they were doing. But it's an example of not giving yourself time to let these characters breathe and let kind of moments hit. For me, that's an example of a story who did it okay at the beginning, still not great, but okay, and then just really went for like, and here's another character that you can meet, and here's another one, and screw it, here's 5 more, why not? And that's how that story started to feel, to me at least. Anybody else have that impression of Saga? By the way, that it just started to, I don't know. It's like people gave up on the bigger plot. Anyway, let me read this mail, which is about creating that comic universe and world building. It says, "Hey Perch, greetings from the other side of the world. Hope you're well." Hello, other side of the world. I have a creator topic. I've been creating characters and stories for a long time. Sometimes they are simple. Some of them are complex, but I try and keep them as original as superhumanly possible. What bothers me is that even though I have so many ideas, I'm not sure I'll ever get them all out. I'm getting up there in age. Yeah, you're in comics. You just hit 30. You're old. Anyway. Plus, I'm just one guy, and trying to establish a universe of different titles for multiple genres is difficult. I always ask myself, which one should I work on next? Which style of storytelling should I use? When does it take place? And that's my wife's scathing question. Why would anyone read that? Not going to lie, that one hurt. Women, they always support it. Anyway, then it dawned on me, why not just consolidate all these stories and characters under one umbrella? For instance, it's a shared universe, my friend. That's what you've created. Anyway, for instance, if I already have established a sci-fi title gaining a fan base, why should I try writing a Western next year and start all over again? I could turn that into a sci-fi Western and introduce new characters in the established title. I mean, it's worked fairly well for Todd McFarlane, I think. Literally everything is created around Spawn. He stayed true to that character and never really tried anything else. What do you think? Is it the right way to go, or am I overthinking it? Thanks for reading this long-winded cry for help. Hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there on the road. Thank you very much. Wives always help it. Look, I think in terms of shared universe, I'm sure a lot of people will have comments in the comments. It depends on you. I don't think there's a magical answer that just works for everyone here. Some creators have done quite well just starting over each time, and that's part of the fun for them. Others, I mean, if you look at Ghost Machine, I believe all the Ghost Machine titles are a shared universe. I may be wrong about that, but I believe they all connect. But you could certainly do it that way too. And the advantage is to creating a shared universe of all your ideas is, you get to start to borrow from them. When you start to do your second or your third comic, if you've established a sci-fi universe and you want to do something with a Western slant to it, you've got this whole world and characters to tap into. And by the way, if you don't want it truly to be a shared universe, just shared in genre, it still is something that will save you some time. You'll just it'll be easier for you to get done what you need to do because you're already in that headspace of that kind of genre and those characters in that world. Um, if the other reason why it might be a good idea is more practical or pragmatic, and it's simply this: from a sales perspective. And by the way, when you're creating art or you're creating comics, comics are a commercial, enterprise. They are designed to be sold. You're not making art for art's sake. You're making pop culture work designed to be resold. And so therefore, it's you could overlook stuff. You could say, but I'm an artiste. I don't care if my comics sell. You could certainly do that. But generally, you're going to need somebody to buy them so you can keep making more and pay yourself. And so therefore, doing everything within the same umbrella or same universe is commercially pragmatic. It does mean that when you're marketing to stores or to your customers or anything else, you could do a little bit what Todd did, which is, from the universe of Spawn. If Spawn wasn't successful, if nobody bought it, then, he would not be continuing the world of Spawn. I mean, or maybe he would, but probably he would not. I mean, Eric Larson continues to put stuff off Savage Dragon, and, that's, anyway, sorry. Cheap shot, right? Well, but true. It's commercially a good idea by the way, most of my shots at Eric Larson are in good fun. It's like Steve Orlando. It's a lot of this. He's a charming guy. All the same, we will be rivals forever. Anyway, it's a good idea to put stuff in a shared universe for commercial reasons because it's just going to make it easier to communicate what you're doing, where it's at, and people who may have been on the fence about buying your title will feel compelled to buy it because they want to keep the story going of the universe they bought into. So there's that advantage. So I think that in general, if you are starting out and you're trying to write things, keeping stuff kind of more or less tethered together is not a bad idea. It probably helps you organize as a writer. It helps you learn the ropes a little bit. And I think juggling completely new universes and different ideas and everything else in different genres and just be able to put out that same level of quality is harder. Now, one word of warning, you can shoehorn in the wrong things. So if you have a successful sci-fi series, for example, and you say, I want to do a Western style story, it may not fit. This may not be a good idea to throw in some Western stuff into your sci-fi adventure. It just, it doesn't belong there. I mean, I think that's potentially very true. So, not everything fits together in the same world. And I think there's probably, sci-fi and Western has gone together. Lots of people have done that. I think superheroes and sci-fi have gone together. Romance and heroes have sort of gone together. Romance and Westerns have gone together a lot. Horror and superheroes, sure. Horror and romance, I mean, some are just going to work a lot better than others, is my point. Anyway, what about you in the audience? What do you think? Mixing genres, shared universe. If you're a new creator and you're setting out to do some world building, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you think about it? And what advice would you give? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course. And thanks for listening.